The opening bell for Wall Street is about to ring. I'll ask you one last question. You don't like Bitcoin? You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin? Do you invest in the stock market at this moment?
So not at this moment. I think it's high. So I have not invested in the stock market at this moment. I have in the past, but I have not at this moment. I think it's high. Okay. Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. You know, with us, it was at 6,000 and much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
So you just heard.
How about the state of the economy? Do you think it would improve if we ended these?
You just heard the ex-president of the United States, and then he stated that he doesn't like Bitcoin. So why is that so? Let's get into the news. Donald Trump details Bitcoin, calls BTC a scam, wants heavy crypto regulation. Okay, so the former US president Trump thinks Bitcoin is a scam, wants heavily regulation on crypto. Why he's thinking that Bitcoin is a scam? What does he know about Bitcoin? I think not too much. Just here mentioning, he noted that when he was president, the price of Bitcoin was only 6,000, much lower than it's now adding. So that is not too much that he knows about Bitcoin. I don't like it because it is another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it is a currency competing against a dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I have always said. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. Guys, so yeah, we know that the world reserve currency is the US dollar, but also we know that the money printing, that the huge debt that the United States have, that you can check here on the usdebtclock.org, and every time you are visiting this site, just you're watching that this amount of the debt is just increasing, and hundreds of thousands within few seconds, hundreds of thousands of US dollar debt increasing every second, and you see that it's increased in the past few decades, and now it's 130% of the GDP. So in the debt to GDP ratio is now it's around 130%. So this is if United States were a company that it wouldn't go bankruptcy and it wouldn't get any loan from the bank, because these debt numbers and these ineffective GDP ratio and GDP numbers are not healthy. But I think that it's a good news that Trump is going against Bitcoin, because that is showing that Bitcoin has something to do, that it has a real potential to become a world reserve currency, and a world currency used by mathematical algorithms, used by math, and not politics and money printing and other economic and monetary stuff that are getting worse and worse. So I understand why he wants the US dollar, because then it would keep their power, and also then I think they have all the infrastructure and channels to attract money and to make money, and all these are built around the US dollar. So I can understand, but I don't agree that Bitcoin would be a worse alternative than the US dollar. It takes the edge off of the dollar and the importance of the dollar. I am not a fan of Bitcoin, he says, and other cryptocurrencies which are not money, and whose value is highly volatile and based on the thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. So this is the bullshit part of this statement. Sorry to say that, Mr. Trump, but I don't agree with you. And also I see that, guys, you know, the third country decided to accept Bitcoin and adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender, and they will replace the United States dollar for Bitcoin. And I think that caused that Mr. Trump and other FUD came out yesterday, because the US powerhouse don't want to see that these developing countries just dropping the US dollar and they are turning to Bitcoin. So this is how I think why it's happening. But I can understand. So if I would be Mr. Trump, a multi-billionaire, and all my businesses built around the US dollar and had to make more and more US dollar, then also I would defend it, and I would wanted it that US dollar forever. But guys, if I will show you that some charts about the global reserve currencies since the Middle Age. So these countries were sailing countries, and they just went out there and conquered other parts of the world, and then their currency was the reserve currency for a while. Portuguese, Spain, Netherlands, France, UK, Britain, and the US. But as you see, the reserve currency just lasted for 80 or 100 or maybe 120 years, but now not longer. So why would US dollar reserve currency state being forever in this status? So why would it be the world reserve currency forever? The world is changing, the world is developing, and also we do have Bitcoin, and also we have other nations like China and Russia and other developing nations that they can conquer with the United States. So definitely you should check this video that I made maybe yesterday. GDP of Iran, but maybe maybe this 1 billion. Let's stop this. Okay. This is a really important video, because it is about that from a really smart senator of Wyoming, and Cynthia Lummis, and she's stating that the US should underpin the US dollar with Bitcoin, because China is really developing fast with their digital yuan, and the US can win this game if they are underpinning the US dollar with Bitcoin. So they are if they would backing the US dollar with Bitcoin, then they would be more competitive against China, and also they would able to keep the US dollar as a reserve currency. But Trump is maybe he hasn't watched my video yet, so that is why he don't know that this is how things should work.
Will help keep
this thing would work. So definitely just check this. Also come here, subscribe, push the bell, and you can share this video. Okay, but let's get back to the news, because I think that's enough from that. Yeah. Other piece of news about Trump. I don't like Bitcoin. I think it's a scam. Let the dollar be a king. And you know, he has less and less hair. Why? Maybe he is so stressful about his US dollar wealth is just decreasing because the inflation, or I don't know why. Yeah, so and it's a really, this is a mainstream media. When you see a chart when dropping, so it's dropping to zero, it seems to be that this is dropping to zero, and nobody is showing that the chart, the normal chart, would have look this, and this is the increase after dropping. So I don't like this when just they are cutting the dump here and not the price increase that happened in the past 7-8 months. And as we see the news, and there will be lots of news, so all this news are about some FUD against Bitcoin. So yesterday and today there are a lot of FUD going on, and they are attacking Bitcoin with this. And I think this manipulation is organized, and this is happening because some players, some big institutions, some high network individuals, or maybe some politicians want to enter crypto, and they want to buy cheap. They don't want to buy for 50,000. They want to buy cheap. So this is how I think, but let me know, how do you think? Biden advisor says focus on Bitcoin's role in cyber attacks must be priority for G7. So I don't think that G7 hasn't any more important things to discuss, maybe the economy or the environment or some pollution, or why US broke the agreement with Russia about the, how should I say, this carbon dioxide thing. And yeah. Okay. Critical infrastructure got the priority for the US and aliens going forward. So this is, I think this is not an issue because it's not an attack. So if so there was this US-based entities, including the Colonial Pipeline Company, the letter of which resulted in gas shortage along the eastern seaboard last month. So they were cyber attacked. But guys, if somebody cyber attacking and asking Bitcoin, there is a more chance to catch them because you can track the Bitcoin addresses, you can track the Bitcoin transactions, you can ward exchanges to stop and catch that guys. But if they would use just cash, then you cannot track so easily as you can track Bitcoin. So I think that Bitcoin is more helpful to catch these attackers. Other piece of news: the next false narrative of Bitcoin's role in illicit activity. The same going on. Jan and Janet continued, I think many cryptocurrencies are used, at least in the transaction sense, mainly for illicit financing. And I think we really need to examine ways in which we can curtail their use and make sure that anti-money laundering doesn't occur through those channels. And this is a false narrative. The majority of cryptocurrency is not used for criminal activity. According to an excerpt from Chainalysis 2021 report, in 2019, criminal activity represented 2.1% of all cryptocurrency transactions volume. In 2022, the criminal share of cryptocurrency activity fell to just 0.34%. So it's under 0.3 point percentage. So what are you talking about that this Bitcoin is used for illicit activity? If not, I'm sure that US dollar cash is the most used money for money laundering and illicit activity. But you cannot track as you can track Bitcoin. US officials recovered $2.3 million in crypto from Colonial Pipeline ransom. Okay, so that was the happening there. Russian-based dark site hackers, the majority of the $4 million funds originally paid, weren't filled with the US district court. Okay, today we turned to tables on dark side by going after the entire ecosystem that fuels ransomware and digital extortion attacks, including criminal proceeds in the form of digital currency. We will continue to use all of our tools and all of our resources to increase the cost and the consequences of ransomware attacks. It's okay, but that for sure, if this happening in crypto, then they are able to catch the bad guys. But if this is happening with cash or maybe with gold, then it's much less chance to catch them. Another FUD from from today: Bitcoin network's security concerns raised as FBI gets access to wallet passwords. BTC tanks 10%. So it's stating that FBI get access to wallet passwords. FBI access to private keys of Bitcoin wallet raised doubts over the network security. The Bitcoin network's fully proof security looks under threat in case third-party players can have such easy access to the wallet passwords. So guys, this is not true. This is not true. Once again, this is not true. This is just that caused also a FUD and panic. There is no place to reach of the FBI to conceal illicit funds that will prevent us from imposing risk and consequences upon malicious cyber actors. Okay. So guys, this is not true. So the FBI cannot get access to your private keys, and the Bitcoin network is secure, and Bitcoin network is doing things. But if you are using, let's say, your laptop without any security things or without any security firewalls, then everybody can attack your computer. So always you should be very careful and pay attention on security, because not just the FBI but also the bad guys, this can access your computer, and not just your password but all other things that you are storing your computer. But if you're storing your private key on a piece of paper, that nobody can get access to it. Crypto market dumps $200 billion in bear-driven bloodbath. Okay, so that was all the FUDs that caused this bloodbath, and I think this is somehow organized, because How can it happen that in the past 24 hours, all this bad news and all this FUD news, all this fear news just came out? Okay, so here Tesla buys Bitcoin, Tesla sells Bitcoin. One more push-up. The whales are dumping their Bitcoins to retail guys, and Tesla reject Bitcoin, and FUD meme is starting here. And now just we are going down. Okay. Crypto market tumble after miners unload 5,000 BTC in 1 week. This is another news that I consider to be FUD news, just causing some fear, because these 5,000 BTC is nothing. It's nothing. What the miners are realizing, it's nothing. And miners should sell some Bitcoins sometimes, because they should pay the electricity bill and other costs, so they cannot keep forever, but this amount is nothing. Miners have sold over 5,000 BTC in the last week. This is the miner wallet balances, and they sold some, but I think this is not causing any huge dump. 5,000 BTC is nothing. Okay, the next piece of news. MicroStrategy 400 million offering to buy more Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy is issuing a bond, raising 400 million to buy more Bitcoin. So I think this is a really good time to be in this space. US inflation is still climbing, and now higher labor costs are adding to the pressure. Okay, so this is interesting. So the US dollar is inflating, the inflation is increasing, and it climbs. Yeah, it's getting closer to 4%. And as there was a tremendous amount of US dollar printed in the past 1 year, past 1.5 years, that we can expect that this inflation will rising forward. Okay, and companies are struggling to find employees. Employees claims fall to pandemic, so there are a lot of free jobs. Bitcoin magazine, Deutsche Bank sees rising inflation as a ticking economic time bomb. Contrary to many financial institutions, analysts at Deutsche Bank have warned of global consequences that will stem from fiat inflation. So the fiat inflation, what kind of fiat causing this inflation? Federal Reserve and its new framework, it will tolerate higher inflation for the sake of full and inclusive recovery. 2 trillion inflationary stimulus package to bolster the shrinking economy. So these are all causing inflation, and most of the inflation first will come with the US dollar, and also then euro and the Japanese yen. The next piece of news. Auction house Philips to accept crypto for Banksy artwork worth millions. The 225 years old auction house joins larger rivals Christie's and Sotheby's in offering the ability to pay in crypto. Nice, good news. They will accept Ethereum and Bitcoin. Cool. Sounds good. Great adoption news. The first NHL team to accept crypto is here. The future of crypto in hockey. We are accepting PayPal, so then by definition we are accepting cryptocurrency when crypto hits the ice. Crypto exchange Crypto.com signed a partnership deal with the Montreal Canadiens. And also Chilis are doing some things to NHL New Jersey Devils. Okay. Nice. Latin lawmakers don't laser eyes on Twitter in support of Bitcoin. An increasing number of Latin American lawmakers are donning laser eyes on their Twitter avatars to express their support for Bitcoin and digital assets. Gabriel Silva, a Panamanian congressman, is moving to follow in El Salvador's footsteps by proposing legislation to adopt Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on a national scale. Okay, this is important, and Panama cannot be left behind. If we want to be a true technology and entrepreneurship hub, we have to support cryptocurrencies. And guys, you know what just something came across to me, that why Trump is doing? I think Trump is living in Florida, and you know what's happened in Miami, and also the mayor of Miami, how passionate is about crypto and wants to build the big blockchain and crypto hub in Miami. And I think also Trump doesn't like it, and that is why he came out with this. But just it came across about this. Okay, they are preparing a proposal. Yesterday, Paraguayan Congressman Carlitos Rayala tweeted El Salvador to the moon and updated a picture of himself with laser eyes, a popular crypto meme used to express Bitcoin maximalism on crypto Twitter. So it's really funny that these Latin American ministers, prime ministers are going to laser eye. One of us. Okay, so I think this is a really important news, because now we have Panama to join El Salvador and Paraguay in Bitcoin adoption. So within the last 72 hours, 3 Latin American countries joined the crypto adoption, the Bitcoin adoption, as they will use Bitcoin as a legal tender, and also they will attract crypto and blockchain related companies and use the innovation in their just build their financial system of financial inclusion, and to allow people having crypto accounts or crypto kind bank accounts. The trend of Bitcoin adoption in Latin America has spread to El Salvador, Paraguay, and now Panama. Panamanian Congressman Gabriel Silva has comments on Salvador's move to adopt Bitcoin as a currency. Okay, don't miss out how Smartman is playing the game. Yeah, this is just a newsletter subscription. This is important, and Panama cannot be left behind. I want to be a true technology and entrepreneurship hub. Okay, we already. So this is huge. This is huge, and I think more countries will follow from Latin America, and I think also Trump and the US, let's say, leaders have the problem with this, because all these small developing countries in Latin America, they used to use the US dollar as their currency, because most of them lost their national currency in a civil war or in an economic crisis, and most of them using US dollar, and transacting with US dollar is very difficult to them because most of the population is working in the US or in other countries, and they are sending money back home. So the remittance market is huge, and also a lot of cuts from that money, and maybe 40 or even 50% can be cutted from the money that they are sending home. And I think as they are steady, they will change the US dollar to Bitcoin. It's somehow hurting the US dollar, but I think we cannot do anything about the innovation and about when things going into the good direction. And I mean, Bitcoin is an amazing monetary asset. It's an amazing standard, and that is why these countries are just realizing, okay, Paraguay hints at making Bitcoin a legal tender after El Salvador. So that was also news yesterday. And also they turned their eyes, laser eyes. Okay, yeah, blockchain.com says goodbye to the Big Apple. So they are moving from New York to Miami. Okay, guys, so let's check what the fear and greed index is showing to us. I think we are in the extreme category. So the fear and greed index at 13, it's a lucky number, 13, extreme fear. Yesterday it was 15, last week it's sideways just between 10 and 20, and now it's historical low at this level. If we see that last year in the Corona dump, it was at the same level, and also during the deepest days in the bear market. So I think fear, so there is a saying, when you should be greedy when others are fearful, and you should be fearful when others are greedy. So let's understand it, and just actually we should behave opposite than this fear and greed are just influencing our emotions. Let's check our nice bubbles. Oh, one coin, AIG. I don't know what they are doing, but it's 161% plus. But all other coins, all other altcoins are in red. Maybe just T-Fuel and Leo are in green. So there is a big drop, more than 10%, almost 10% one day. And some companies are dropping heavily. Some coins are dropping heavily, but stable coins are stable for sure. Good. And also DAI, it's really stable recently, even if it's backed by Ethereum. So let's check our chart. So what we see here, it's a big leg up, or it's not a leg up because this is just my drawings here. So there was this symmetrical triangle here on the Bitcoin chart, and we expected a breakdown or a break up. We know that the trend is in down trend, and symmetrical triangle breaking down 80% in the direction of the trend. So we broke down here, and now the target of this triangle is at 23,000 US dollar, but we have strong resistance here at 30,000, 28,000, and maybe at 25,000. So we will see how it will react, but it can happen that bulls will defending the 30,000 and buying up this zone, and I think this accumulation is now going on. So the big guys, they really want to be in. They are trying everything, using media, using FUD, and trying to push the price down. This is what I would do if I would have such a power, but also we should know that after the halving, just 400 days left, so we have almost this year to get back in the bull zone, and after that, as getting closer to the new halving, that this bear cycle can start it. So we see for sure. I think maybe we can see a huge dump, maybe to 20,000, but this dump will be fast, and we will see a sharp drop and a fast recovery. This is how I think. But you should you shouldn't accept anything that I'm saying. Just do your own research. What I'm saying in this video is just it's not a financial advice. It's not a business advice or investment advice. It just serves for educational and entertainment purposes. So do your own research and decide accordingly. But I think if we are looking back and just checking what the Bitcoin rainbow chart is showing to us, and as we believe that this cycle is happening as the newly issued Bitcoins are cut it half in every 4 years, and it's influencing how the price is increasing, and before the halving it decreasing. So I think we have nice room to top up, maybe end of this year or beginning of next year. And I think the big guys, the big players, the entrepreneurs and the elite, the wealthy guys, now they are just now realizing what is Bitcoin and how powerful it is. And as this rally in 2017 was fueled by retail investors, I think now as institutions, the financial system, and the rich clients and institutions are exploring Bitcoin, I think then we will see a nice continuation from here, and maybe having a Bitcoin super cycle much longer, and also maybe the price will reach higher levels than we just would imagine right now. So I don't think there is to enter a trade. It's not really risky because maybe it can turn. There was no retest of this support level. Yeah, even if we continue here, it can be really sharp with a sharp recovery, or it will just lose momentum and going sideways from here and forming a new pattern. RSI is now low. It's around 20, and just the price just reached almost 31,000, and now just back at almost 33,000. And also Ethereum broke out of this ascending triangle. This ascending triangle looked really healthy. It was a really nice pattern, and with a high probability to break up, but it broke down, and now we see that also Ethereum price just fall down. But if we are seeing higher highs, that yeah, we saw higher highs, but if we are not going lower, that maybe with these higher highs it can get some consolidation here. But technically, if it's dropped down, that it can visit around 160 according this pattern. So be very careful, trade careful now, don't use leverage if because you cannot expect in which direction and we will see heavy movement even up or down, and altcoins can drop further than Bitcoin, can drop more heavily than Bitcoin, but as the Bitcoin will consolidate, these altcoins can jump higher and increase higher. So that is why maybe also entering some altcoins with Bitcoin in the low levels in the dump, then can bring higher jumps upside. Yeah, so we see some coins in green like Kusama, XLM, Solana. So good to see that some coins, yeah, dumped, but now they are recovery and also they recovered really well from the deep, from the May deep. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. These daily crypto news are brought to you by CorionX, and also we are working on some nice products at CorionX, and we'll release this product soon. I don't want to spoil too much about these products, but I'm sure that you will like it. And also it will help crypto adoption, because our main goal is to introduce a really easy to use crypto to mainstream. That is why we have CorionX on Ethereum and also on Binance Smart Chain. And as the products we are developing, this is not a deep tech product, but it's a really easy to use product for mainstream people. And we are really excited that come out with this new product release, and hope that we will able to onboard more and more users interacting with CorionX and with our products. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Smash the like, subscribe, push the bell, and let's see you tomorrow.